Ladies and gentlemen, Blast is back, punching Empty Void in the face. The redraws are over, the Neo Hero introductions are over, and unfortunately this is all we really got. It's the final page of the chapter, but that is great news because we're finally getting the fight, and he did not get one-shotted like he did in the webcomic. So this is great news for us fans, and we also got a huge reveal here in this chapter. Blast's son is finally revealed. His name is Blue. He's 16 years old, the leader of the Neo Heroes. He looks awesome, he looks confident, and we have a lot to talk about him in particular because he is going to play an integral role here in this story. So I'm super juiced. We've got all the introductions. Blast vs. Empty Void, next chapter, crazy pump. Mastar. Let's talk about this chapter with the cover page. We have Element and Destro, and it turns out we find out later in the chapter that these two are cyborgs just like Webby Gaza, but they're insanely powerful. And so we don't really know too much about them, I think, based on the webcomic, but we do know that they're crazy, crazy strong. And this first panel here in the chapter is kind of just emphasizing that as you see them walk into the room. Beautiful opening panel here by Murata, by the way, giving us a sense of the space of the room, all of the characters, and just a great angular art shot, which gives us cool postures and depth and really nice shot. I guess they're basically security guards. They've come to escort the two Neo Heroes that wanted to be leaders but were too weak, Mars Leo and Coco, I believe you pronounce his name. They're just telling them to dip, and I love the way that Element's looks. I mean, is she the new waifu, bro? Like, look how curvy this chick is. And basically, they're complaining a little bit as they get escorted out by the security guards. And as they're getting escorted, Coco notices that the two security guards, Destro and Element, their body modification rate is 95%. And as we learn in chapter 204, Webby Gaza's is 71%, which is dangerously high. If you go over 60%, you can die. So Webby Gaza being at 71 is unheard of, and these two are at 95. They're almost completely robotic, minimal organic flesh, and for whatever reason, that's going to make them super strong. Now, something happens to Webby Gaza. She just kind of sort of like faints, and she says she has a small headache. She drops down, and she says that the main server here in my brain got connected in the modification surgery. Lately, I've had this sensation like someone is reaching in and probing around, and that makes Child Emperor like, and then you see this creepy face on Webby Gaza. So it appears that she is on to Child Emperor. She knows that he is spying on them. We know that Sekengar and Child Emperor are not actually joining the Neo Heroes. Right now, they're just gathering intel. And in fact, McCoy, because he was caught basically being corrupt, I think he's assisting them as well, but McCoy is a little bit out of control. He really only just cares about himself. And now we get a little bit of comic relief. Suryu is trying to be the white knight, good guy hero. He picks up Webby Gaza and he's like, no, that's not good. We'll take her to the hospital. And he notices as he's touching her, like this steam is coming off. So he thinks it's a fever and she's like, no, that's not it. Bro, where is he grabbing? Like, is my mind playing tricks on me? Because all right, I don't think I can say that on YouTube, but and yeah, there's a little bit of comic relief here with them interacting. Maybe they'll start dating or something in the future, but she basically pounds him on the head and she says this is her normal temperature, and everybody's like, wow, you guys are a bunch of weirdos. We also have Metal Bat making his introduction, who says he chose the Neo Heroes so his little sister could be proud of him, and he's gonna have a little tuffle here with Ryumon, but I know Ryumon is really strong, but I mean, Metal Bat is the GOAT, bro. Like, he fought Garo and he didn't lose. He's a lot stronger than people give him credit for, and Ryumon calls him an idiot and he laughs it off saying you ain't wrong, but they kind of have this little stare down which gets me excited. Like, I'd love to see these two fight. Okay, so now we get introduced to the final Neo Hero, the leader, as McCoy tells us. Lastly, the one sitting in the back, he is the very person who laid the foundation for the Neo Heroes. Surely he will become a symbol for a new era of heroes. He's the leader standing at the top of the organization. And he stands up and he says, I'm Blue. And at first he doesn't really appear to be anything special. I mean, all you can really see is this robot hand on him. And as he says, the Neo Heroes were established with the purpose of showing real heroes to the world. But it's not that easy. Under the banner of justice, we can't restore peace if we don't fully commit to it. So let's do it together. Join forces with me, all of you. And even some of the other Neo heroes are a little hesitant because they're like, when we heard the leader was only 16 years old, we had doubts, but it turns out that he's very special. And why is he special, Secongar asks? Because he is Blast's son, and he even has the same eyes as Blast. So, lots to talk about here. We're gonna get a lot of Blue in the arc coming after Empty Void. So first we gotta do the Empty Void fight, and then we're gonna get into a lot of Blue. He's gonna have some interesting battles in the future. Now, in the webcomic, minor spoilers here, I mean, they really have not flushed out his character. So they could be changing and adding a lot of elements to him, but considering Blast is in the middle of a fight, it's awesome that they introduced his son. And I think that's why Murata did this. He wanted to introduce Blue right at the moment that the fight continues. And maybe it will have something to do with the fight. Perhaps Empty Void will bring it up. I'm gonna go kill your son or something like that. And maybe the fight goes over to Blue. They could definitely rewrite this fight in a lot of different ways. And it's very evident here now that this fight will be rewritten, so it's safe to spoil it now what happens in the webcomic. Empty Void was a very hyped up villain, and then he was one shot off screen by Saitama, and it was kind of disappointing. And so fans were really excited that he was going to get a fresh take here in the manga. But after they did all the redraws and announced them, everybody was like, oh god, he's going to get one shot. But luckily, seeing Blast punch him in the face means that he's not going to get off screened, which is great news because that means we're going to get that big, juicy god battle that we've been waiting for. The next chapter of One Punch Man is going to be sick, boys. Full power Blast against full power Empty Void. Sonic and Flashy Flash, I guess, will be trying to help in some way, and as we saw from the chapter cover of the previous chapter, Saitama may be going to the gate of the Celestial Rock Cave, the dimension gate where God is hidden, and the place where only Empty Void can open this portal to God. And so some crazy stuff with God and Empty Void and Blast, all this stuff is coming in the next chapter, boys. I am crazy pumped for this. I want to talk a little more about Blast's son Blue, and I'll probably be doing an entire video on him, just talking about some of his feats in the webcomic, so that'll be a spoiler video, you'll know to look out for it. But you have to take into account that knowing his father is the #1 hero of the Hero Association, and he specifically started the Neo heroes to show real heroes, that means that he carries a lot of resentment for his father Blast. Perhaps Blast, most likely is just off fighting God the whole time that Blue was being raised as a child. So he probably has not been in Blue's life at all, because Blast has been out fighting God out in space somewhere. You got to forgive the guy. He's trying to save the universe here. So it's very evident Blue has an agenda against his father, and it's one of the reasons he started the Neo Heroes. Why would you join a hero association where the #1 hero is never even around to save you? And so that is his motivation for the Neo Heroes, although we know that the Neo Heroes are not all innocent, neither is the Hero Association. Both of them are pretty corrupt. Some treachery is about to happen, I believe, in both factions, and they may even start going to war, but we're gonna have to see in the next upcoming chapters. But first, the big battle fight that we've been dying for.